What platforms have banned you?
I've been, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but...
You'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
It's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, I'm not, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, Yo, what's cracking? You know what it is. It's your homeboy Ice Cube. And some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their fucking club. That pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with.
So why would you be doing this of all interviews? I mean, you could do an interview with anyone. You're doing an interview with me. Obviously, you're going to take abuse for doing that. Like, why would you do that?
Because I think it's silly not to talk to people. I think whether we agree or not,
right?
That has nothing to do with it. It's like, this is what it's all about. Let's talk about it. Let's debate. And I've been shut out.
Wait, that sounds like right-wing extremism and whataboutism.
But I've been shut out. Some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, I'm an outsider. And so, I'm not part of the club. So I have to go places for one, that I'm welcome, and where I can voice my opinion without somebody, saying I'm a bad person and that they never want to have me on their platform again.
In a bombshell revelation, hip-hop legend Ice Cube has set the internet ablaze by boldly calling out media mogul Oprah Winfrey, alleging that the queen of daytime television isn't as virtuous as she appears. According to Ice Cube, Oprah's meteoric rise to fame and immense power may have come at a high price, with dark secrets buried beneath her empire. He suggests that there are hidden agendas and behind-the-scenes deals that have fueled her success. Deals that, if exposed, could drastically alter public perception of one of the world's most beloved figures. As Ice Cube pulls back the curtain on the alleged manipulations and sacrifices made in Oprah's pursuit of power, fans and critics alike are left to question how far the media titan would go to maintain her carefully curated image.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too. I don't know what it is, but, several of my, I had a movie called Barbershop,
Yeah, I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast. I produced a show called Black White, and it was a very controversial show.
I had all of it. All I did was say, I want to punch it up so it's not offensive to real niggas, and that's how I got in this position.
Lord have mercy.
I sure hope I have a Club Shay Shay after this air.
It's gonna be in a dimension it's never been.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
The greatest thing floating in
I might be out of
2024. Mark
business.
the words. No way. In a whole different realm of business. Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Watch. God's people ain't that few.
Do-over. Is there anything you do over or do differently?
Yeah, I would not have taken on the responsibility of trying to build a network while still ending the show. I mean, that is my one regret. I should have handled all of that differently. I think I should have completed one thing, taken a year to do nothing, and then decided what was the next thing for me to do. I had made a decision that it was time for the show to end. I don't regret that. What I do regret is trying to do multiple things at the same time. I would have done the thing that I tell everybody else to do. When you don't know what to do nothing. Get still with yourself and do nothing. I would have given myself that time.
Remember a few months ago when Ice Cube shook things up by launching his Gatekeeper tour? He aimed to expose how Hollywood elites and mainstream media are out to destroy anyone who doesn't play by their rules. It all kicked off when Cube noticed the NBA and certain media outlets making some sneaky moves behind the scenes, seemingly trying to undermine his Big Three basketball league. Frustrated by what he saw as a coordinated effort to sabotage his work, Ice Cube decided to speak out, claiming it was all because he wasn't part of their secret club.
You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what, who? Come on, man, stop playing. So, ever since I put out the contract with Black America, they've been fucking with me. Here and there, this and that. But it's cool, I expect that. I've been working with, on the Big Three for a long time. And you know how they've been fucking with me with that. I done made it, plain, simple, and clear what they've been doing, the NBA been fucking with us. Now, a lot of people might say, like, well, but Cube, you want to work with the NBA. Really, I don't give a fuck about working with the NBA. What I want them to do, when I say work with us, is to stop working against us. Stop doing that bullshit behind the scenes that we know you're doing. Mainstream media, they ain't fucking with us. And that's cool. We can do it ourselves, you know what I'm saying? We still on the rise without these motherfuckers. So we don't need them, you don't need them. So what am I gonna do to deal with these motherfucking gatekeepers? Well, what I'm gonna do is go on a Fuck the Gatekeepers podcast tour. And I'm gonna go talk to everybody, and get a chance to get my message out to the people. Be able to let people hear from me,
A lot of fans were backing Ice Cube as he dropped truth bombs, but they were also eager for him to spill all the tea and name names. It seems Cube took note, because during a recent interview with Tucker Carlson, an interesting choice for such a reveal, he dropped a bombshell. Oprah is allegedly among those who can do everything for fame. Now everyone is wondering why Oprah has been keeping her distance from Cube. After all, she's had plenty of questionable characters on her show over the years. For decades, Oprah has platformed all sorts of controversial figures, from self-proclaimed healers and con artists to individuals with deeply troubling histories. She often defended these choices by saying she was shining a light on taboo subjects and trying to help her viewers. But as time went on, it became increasingly clear that Oprah's main priority was one thing: ratings. From endorsing frauds and promoting those with dubious claims of magical healing powers to featuring notorious figures like John of God, she didn't shy away from putting questionable guests in the spotlight. Yet, she kept Ice Cube at arm's length, raising questions about what made him different.
This is an interview I wasn't sure would ever happen. One of the most famous spiritual healers in the world rarely talks to anyone on camera. John of God agreed to sit down with me under a mango tree on the grounds of the casa. A group of his patients gathered to watch. John of God speaks only Portuguese, so Heather Cumming helped translate. Ready, guys? You describe yourself as a spiritual medium. What does that mean, a medium?
Médium, eu sou espiritualista.
As a medium, he's a spiritualist. He believes a great deal in God, and he practices this mission already 55 years.
Born on a farm to a family who rarely had enough to eat, João Teixeira de Faria was the youngest of 6 children. His father was a tailor. His mother, a housewife who also ran a small hotel to make ends meet. You had the surgery.
Well, I was as skeptical, but you know, when you have leukemia and someone
Stay with me, people, because this is as woo-woo as I know how this sounds. This sounds like woo. It sounds crazy.
So anyway, Raina Piscova calls me from down in Abidjan.
Okay.
She had the surgery. I had the surgery. Now the surgery, this is a guy who can do surgery to 1,000 people in a room at the same time. This is not. He is not somebody who does the surgery. Okay, he doesn't remember any of it that he does. You can watch him do it. He gets into this thing and he picks up these instruments, and you can actually see pictures of the entities that enter his body as he does this. I know. When you're going down there, you'll see.
I'm going down.
You did a whole show on it.
I did, but every time I've heard about him or talked about him or even written about him in the magazine, it has been through somebody else's eyes.
Right.
And I keep hearing these stories and hearing
I had
these
a direct experience.
Rumor has it that Oprah has been making headlines for some pretty questionable actions, particularly when it comes to what she may have sacrificed for fame. She's no stranger to controversy. Accusations have surfaced suggesting she's run smear campaigns against her critics, sabotaged careers, and faced some truly unsettling allegations.
You respect or maybe even love, and it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking you, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, you're crazy, because everybody wants to believe it's like sexual assault and you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being raped. And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened. You will be in it and you won't even know it's happened. And if the abuser is any good, he or she is going to make you feel like you're a part of it. I mean, and nothing is more being a part of it than what we discussed earlier. Then you say you were married. You had marriage vows and you have rings.
Right. Oprah legitimized the notorious sex criminal João Teixeira, a.k.a. John of God, as a miraculous faith healer, one who could cure cancer, giving him international recognition. João Teixeira is now serving 19 years in prison for the rape of 4 women. He is facing additional cases related to several sex crimes, including keeping teenage women as sex slaves in underground mines, forcing them to have his children, and selling their babies internationally for tens of thousands of dollars before murdering the women after about 10 years of childbirth. Oprah runs her own Leadership Academy for Girls in Africa, a $40 million school for disadvantaged girls, where in 2007, several children were sexually abused and parents were only allowed to see their children once a month.
And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good.
Adding to the intrigue are the connections Oprah reportedly maintained with controversial figures like Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein. For context, Oprah had a notably close relationship with Weinstein in the past, even offering him sympathy despite his reprehensible actions. This association raises eyebrows and casts doubt on her judgment and priorities. Considering Weinstein's widely known misconduct and Epstein's horrific crimes, it's puzzling why Oprah would align herself with such individuals. It highlights the complex power dynamics in Hollywood and the moral compromises influential figures might make while navigating these relationships.
About what's happening with Harvey Weinstein. I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And this is what I do know for sure. When something this major happens, when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment. And what I do believe is actually happening is that, first of all, it's triggering a lot of unreleased pain, repressed anger, guilt, and suffering that a lot of women have had. I happened to be on set with several actresses the other day, and we were filming some things, and they were like, hadn't slept over a period of 2 or 3 days, and I was like, what is that? I said, oh, you guys are suffering from PTSD.
And when you start talking about it out loud, too.
Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And so I think this is a watershed moment.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson, Donald Trump, and Stephen Hawking. What's common between these public figures? Well, these are some of the names that have been linked to pedophile island owner and celebrity financer Jeffrey Epstein. He's the man who owned the Sin Island or the pedophile island. And what happens in that island will certainly shock you. Allegations are that Jeffrey Epstein gave out sexual services to all his big ticket clients by underage women, underage girls who were trafficked and were catering to all the whims and fancies of his big ticket clients. Jeffrey Epstein's journey is quite interesting, starting off as a professional, then a seemingly successful entrepreneur, to becoming a criminal and then committing suicide, allegedly, while he was behind bars. Well, the man behind the Little St. James Island, located in the Caribbean, Jeffrey Epstein, was born and raised in New York City.
Their friendship seemed unusually close, with numerous photos capturing shared moments that suggest a warm rapport. Speculation even swirled that Oprah may have influenced certain actresses to associate with Weinstein. Rose McGowan, a vocal Weinstein critic, took to Twitter to share her thoughts on the matter, fueling further suspicion. I am glad more are seeing the ugly truth of it, Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't. From being pals with Weinstein to abandoning and destroying Russell Simmons' sick victims, she is about supporting a sick power structure for personal gain. She is as fake as they come. #Lizard. Ice Cube claims about Oprah's questionable connections and alleged attempts to blacklist him cast a new shadow over her legacy. His revelations push the public to reconsider the carefully crafted image of a media icon whose rise to fame might not be as spotless as it seems. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.